Don't we all want to do more of what we love and at the same time do it guilt-free? I know I do. I put a lot of energy into watching different productivity videos and learning different techniques and even taking a class. And I know I want to get more crochet done because I love doing it. So I've kind of broken down a few of the most basic steps if you want to do more of what you love. And that thing is crochet. I would love it if you would join me. Let's get on into it. So the first two items are kind of like a chicken and egg situation. Meaning which should you do first? So I'll just say what they are. The first one is to sit down, plan ahead, and write down what your goals are. And the second one is going to be to start block scheduling. So the reason I say it's a chicken and egg is because, you know, in block scheduling, it would encourage you to block out that time for you to do your planning and scheduling. But I think we'll address that second. The biggest thing is you're not actually going to be able to accomplish your goals if you actually haven't decided what they are. Productivity or not, that's kind of comes second because, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing or you don't have a plan or you don't know what you want to do, you're just kind of adrift and kind of being taken here and there. And trust me, I've got like a bunch of different whips all in different type of things because I haven't sat down with a clearly defined goal. Back in December, I knew I wanted to make a bunch of my family members hats. I had goals, like it was structured. I knew what I was doing. I knew how many I was doing. I knew what yarns I was using. I had all of that and it was on point. But then, you know, after that pressure came off, I had like freedom and didn't have a deadline or didn't have specific projects. I kind of started just floating around again. I have been working on a specific top that I want to share with you. And so it has made me have to focus a little bit more, but I am finding myself getting distracted by a new yarn I bought. And yeah, it's kind of like getting me a little bit. I feel a little bit torn because I want to mess with the new yarn, but I know I need to finish this one. So for me, sitting down, making the time to sit down and plan out what I need to do, what I want to do, and get that in order is extremely important. Otherwise, I'm just going to allow myself to get distracted and go with the whims. I really like Sundays to sit down and plan out my week. And I feel like, you know, it's just kind of like a nice, quiet, reflective time. I like to get up, I drink my coffee kind of in quiet, and I have a paper planner, but if you use like Google Calendar or any online system, that works just fine too. But I like to just kind of sit there, reflect on what I want to do, crochet and like other stuff, but just set aside that time. And I have noticed a clear difference between when I do that and when I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants and just taking life as it comes. I definitely get more done, even if extra stuff gets thrown in that I didn't plan on, if I do take that time and sit there on a Sunday when I'm not in a hurry and I have, you know, a clear mind. Okay. So do you know what block scheduling is? I know it's been around for quite a while, and I'm just going to kind of oversimplify it here, but like if you just type in block scheduling in YouTube, you will get a ton of different resources pop up. So basically when you time block something, you're either like I said, in Google Calendar or an online calendar or in your planner, and you're actually taking and like I would use highlighters and block out certain areas of time. So whether it's, you know, like work, like when I go to work, I'll block that time out because I know like I have to be there and I'm not going to get crochet done. I do crochet on the way there and back because I'm the passenger, but that's different. I don't really count that as crochet time. But like you block that out where you know that's, you know, and if your kids have something going on or if you have like a dental appointment or any of that, you block those out because those are like totally non-negotiable priorities that have to be done. So once you get those all blocked out, you then want to go in and, you know, you want to write down all the things that you want to do that aren't the haves to's. I'm just being hypothetical, but you know, do you want to crochet an hour every day? You know, do you want to go to the gym? Do you want to do whatever? whatever. And then those are things that you look through and you block out those times to do those activities. And then it's something where you know that time is allotted for, and you know that all your priorities have been allotted for. And assuming that you are on track and not ignoring those have to, must do priority items like go to work, assuming you're not ignoring those things, housework, whatever. So for example, if you know you like to clean your house Saturday mornings and you block out 3 hours to do all your housework and chores, if it's Monday night and you've got an hour blocked out for crochet, you can sit there and crochet guilt-free, not thinking, oh, you know, my baseboards need to be wiped down and the sink needs to be cleaned, because you know you're going to do those things in the time that you've blocked out for it. And I think this is just a really refreshing way to do things to ensure that you do accomplish your responsibilities, and that it frees up your mind from thinking about those other activities so you can actually enjoy the other things you want to do. And I think this is important for things that we let obstacles get in the way of. Like, you know, if you were like, I want to go for a walk every night, and, you know, you think, okay, I'm going to be gone 1 hour for that. You know, a lot of us aren't like super into exercise, so it would be easy to say, oh, you know, I have to clean my bathroom, so I'm not going to go on a walk tonight. But then you don't really want to clean the bathroom, so you allow yourself to get distracted and you accomplish neither of your goals. Where if you have that blocked out, you know you can do it. I first learned about time blocking in a class I took from Jordan Page. It was called like Productivity Boot Camp. And at the time I took it several years ago, it was a class. Like you paid for the class and then you went through these videos on your own time. You could go like as fast or slow as you wanted, whatever. I believe it has now since changed into a membership type of program, so I can't really speak to what it is now or what the value is, but I will put a link down to it, because when I took that class, I did find it valuable for me. I have no idea what the current pricing is or any of the things that go along with it. You would want to definitely check that out for yourself. Or like I said, there's a ton of different resources if you just type it into YouTube, time blocking, or even for your specific calendar, whatever you're using. If it's like Google Calendar or whatever, I'm sure you can find a tutorial on that. So after we've time blocked our planning session, the next thing I want you to time block is going to be your research time. So if in my planning session, I know I want to make a scarf with some brand new Knit Picks yarn I got, which is true. I totally do. And I do have a really good yarn. I will be showing you that in a couple weeks, so I'm super excited about it. But the reality is, and I'm sure you're the same way as I am, it is so easy to waste enormous amounts of time searching for the perfect pattern. And a lot of times we've already got a bunch of them downloaded that we like or stored somewhere electronically. But it's like a never-ending supply of patterns out there, which is awesome. I'm not complaining, but that can be a giant time waster. So if you time block out a certain amount of time, and when you're done, you're done. Come up with a few possibilities along the way. And when that hour or whatever time frame you've decided on is up or getting close to being up, you look through your 5 maybes and decide which it is and go for it. Maybe we could even have that whole scarf done in the time that we procrastinated just mindlessly looking and looking and looking for that perfect pattern. After you found that pattern, the other thing you're going to need to time block is, are you going to have to purchase yarn for this? Is it something you have in your stash? Can you look through, maybe you had the yarn first, whatever. But if you do need to find yarn, you need to also designate a certain amount of time as far as picking your yarn. I'm not saying make impulsive decisions, but schedule out half an hour, schedule out an hour, something like that. Get online and look for what you want, or head to a store knowing you're going to leave with yarn. That's something where you just can't leave it open-ended. You need that time-blocked space. So let's catch up real quick. We've learned about time blocking, and we're starting to implement that in our planner. We've got time set out once a week, and maybe even also like once a month for a monthly game plan where we decide what we're going to be working on and what we want to accomplish and how that works in with the rest of our life. We're going to designate time for our pattern and yarn research, and then we're going to actually get started on that project. Sort of. As I've stated before, I have problems with obstacles. I need as little obstacles as possible in order for me to complete something. For me, if I have my area that I'm going to be crocheting prepped and ready to go, and when that time hits where I know I can crochet freely, and my yarn is right there, my hook is right there, I don't have to get up. Like, I can plop down and what I've got is right there. That's going to be the most efficient and the most productive way. If I end up having to search around or come upstairs and grab supplies and go back down, it's just like, ugh, it's easier to scroll on my phone. And that doesn't help get my goals done. It doesn't. Some of this depends on, your space, your availability, your time. It's not good for me to leave like just a bunch of yarn out because my cat would have a field day while I'm gone at work. So I definitely need to keep that in a whip bag of some sort, but I can have all of that stuff right there by my spot on the couch so that when I get home after work, get all of our night stuff done, I can sit down. Don't even have to think about it. My hook's in there, my pattern's in there, the yarn I need is in there, everything is right there and it is ready to go. Right now it's nice and bright because it is spring, summer, but in the wintertime it would behoove me to bring like my neck light down. I've got one of these awesome neck lights, and in my living room, if it's dark yarn, we don't have an overhead light, it's just lamps. So having this down there near my spot makes it so much easier just to be able to pick up and go. But again, like I said, this time of year, it's not as important. If you do not have the space to have it there, or if your situation doesn't allow for that, if you've got, kids running around, or, you're sharing the space with others for whatever, maybe your space is a whip bag. Like, if you have a bag that is just designated for that project, and, if you're hanging it on your door handle in your room, or just something where it's out of the way, but easy to access and everything's inside of it already, it is going to make it so much easier. So you can adapt that. When I say get your space ready, you can adapt that for whatever situation you're in. When you're getting that space prepped and ready to go, like not when you're sitting down to crochet, but like once you've got your whip bag ready or whatever, if you got your stuff in your area, you also want to take a quick look around and just spend 5 or 10 minutes clearing out any distracting clutter. So if it's your whip bag, pull out old scraps of yarn, pull out old ball bands. I'm thinking about all the things that are in my whip bag that need to be pulled out of there. Pull out all the extra crochet hooks that you're not going to be using for the project. Pull out an abandoned whip. Get rid of all that stuff that is going to distract you from your task. Same thing goes if you're in your living room or you're in an office. Spend just 5 or 10 minutes clearing off your desk, get rid of the trash, get rid of anything that might draw your attention and pull you in a different way and stop your brain from focusing. Don't have your work, don't bring your work home and put it in the space that you're crocheting, because you're probably going to be distracted thinking about things you need to do the next day. I'm not saying you have to clean everything perfectly, but just make it a nice, inviting space without distraction. The other thing, this is just something for me. It's not necessarily something I have learned like in any productivity class or anything, but I found this when I'm like having to sit down and do tasks that I don't particularly like when I have to sit down and do a bunch of accounting or something like that. And I know it's a non-negotiable. It has to be done. I have to sit there and do it. Like, I'm on a timeline. It's not fun. But I've also carried this over into pleasurable things like crochet. Is when you're prepping your area, think in advance, what are my physical needs? Because our physical needs can also be distracting. So obviously go to the bathroom before you sit down. That's kind of a given. But it's not just like that. I want to have like a water or a tea or a sparkling water or some sort of beverage handy. Not that I have to open it and start drinking it, but I want it right there within my grasp. So if I feel myself, thirsty, I just have it right there. I don't have to get up, stop my project, put it down, arrange it, risk it getting messed up on the couch by the animals, but I can just grab that drink and meet that need. Same way, I don't think a lot of us really snack when we're crocheting just because we don't want icky hands, but if you need a snack or, if you need like a candy or a cough drop, have those there. If you use crochet gloves, have those there. There's so many things that you can have handy. I know for me, I don't have like one of those boppy pillows, but I tend to put a pillow on my lap just to raise things up a little bit. Sometimes I have to, if I'm in a certain chair, I need a pillow behind my back. So I try to get those things available again so I don't have to stop my process and then restart and get back into it. And then the very last kind of bonus tip I'm going to give is if you do need to get up and attend to something while you're in your like crochet block time, is to just stop like in the middle of a row. Don't stop at an end spot, because I think when we do that, it adds a little bit of like finality to it. I don't know if that's the right word, but it feels a little more finished. And I think then it's easier to be like, I'll just deal with it later. I'll come back later. I finished that row anyway. Like in our mind, we completed a stopping point. So if you're stopping somewhere in between, I think it makes it a little bit easier, after we've attended whatever task we needed to do, to be able to jump back into it, because we have that like desire, like, oh, I need to finish this. So don't make it easy to end early. Make it a little more difficult. Don't have that stopping point already there so that you can jump back in. I absolutely love crocheting. It is one of my absolute favorite things to do besides talking about yarn and crochet. I just hope that you get the same experience I do. I hope you enjoy working on it and can do it without feeling guilty that you're not getting other things done. In modern society, we're kind of programmed to be that way, where, if our house isn't perfect or, we're not working overtime for our job or whatever, we kind of feel like we're failing a little bit. And that is not true. You do need to schedule out time for you and time for the things that fulfill you. Real quick, I did want to invite you to go down into the description box in this video. And if you are not signed up for my email, I would encourage you to do that. It is completely free, and I've been working on it for a little while but haven't been overly serious, but I really enjoy doing my newsletter for June, and in it you'll find a video that is exclusive just to email subscribers. It's generally a little bit shorter, but it also kind of lets you know upcoming stuff that I've got planned and what's been going on, and more of a sneak peek, like behind the scenes type of stuff. I'll show like some of my whips or FOs and stuff like that in there. So I would love it if you would consider signing up for that. And I do have kind of some big news I'm going to release in July's email. So I would love it if that's something you're interested in, if you would hit that link down in the description box for the email. If you have any other productivity tips, please put them down in the comments, because I would love to get more crochet done. So any advice is needed, and I know usually everybody in my comments has been so supportive to everybody. I just really want to keep that going. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule, and hopefully you will time block me into next week's schedule if you decide to do that. But thank you so much for talking yarn with me. Bye.